Today we're going to show you how to draw a Rubik's Cube using two-point perspective. So we start off with a Rubik's Cube. We want to start by putting a horizon line, which is a horizontal line. You want to line up the ruler to the edge of your paper so you get a nice line. Make sure it's along the edge of the paper. And then you want to add two vanishing points, one on each side of the paper. Then line up your ruler again to the bottom of the paper and put a vertical line. This is going to be your Rubik's Cube. If you wanted to really make sure you do a good job, you could measure it, but you don't have to. You can eyeball it. Then you take the top and the bottom of that line, that vertical line, and take it to one vanishing point, and then you do the other side, taking it to the other vanishing point. We get the second one done, taking it to that vanishing point. Make sure you're lined up really well. And when you're drawing your lines, you want to make sure you draw these really light because some parts of them you are going to need to erase. You'll notice on that last line, I didn't even take it all the way to the vanishing point. It was lined up, I just didn't take it. Then you want to decide how far back does your box go, and you're going to need to eyeball it and kind of decide. If it's a square or a cube, it should be about the same, so you want to take a look at it. You could measure it to make sure it's the same on both sides. And then once again, when you're doing your vertical line, make sure you're lined up to the bottom of the page. All right, now we want to find the center of the cube because we need to know where the center is to figure out where all of the little boxes for the cube goes. So if you find the center, and you do that by doing a diagonal line from corner to corner, and that gives you the center of the cube. And then once again, you need to kind of decide how far back is that first one going to go. Remember, the cube in the center is going to be the center Rubik's Cube, the center spot of the Rubik's Cube. So like my first line here, I think it was a little off, so I adjusted it. You can see I erased it and redid it. So on this side, once again, draw the line. So we've got the center, right there is the center. And now I need to figure out where the rest of that is. So I take my ruler and I get a rough idea of where I think it's at. I'm doing these light because I might need to redo them. And I'm on each side of that center mark. And that looks like it's not too bad. Okay, so now I need to decide where I'm going to do the lines that go towards the vanishing part on the Rubik's Cube. So these are the ones that are going to go towards the vanishing point. And I need to figure out how far back I want to do it. Now I can eyeball it, or I can make my life a little bit easier and actually measure that front line. Because if I measure that front line, because I'm doing a 9 cube or a 3x3 Rubik's Cube on this drawing, I know there's going to be 3 boxes on the front, and they're going to be equally spaced because that's what they are on the Rubik's Cube. So if I measure it, I know exactly where those are. So I measured it and just put a little tiny dot there. Then I know where to put that line. And then I do the second one, making sure it's going to the vanishing point. If it's not going to the vanishing point, it does not work. Okay, so line it up again to the other side. Take it to the vanishing point. Do the second one, take it to the vanishing point. And now I've got a lot of guidelines I need to erase. But once I finish erasing them, it's looking pretty much like a Rubik's Cube now. So along with erasing the guidelines inside the cube, I'm also erasing my lines that went to the vanishing points because I don't need those other than the ones that are on the cube. Not a bad looking Rubik's Cube. The next thing I need to do is I need to color it. I'm going to use Sharpies and markers to color mine. First thing I'm going to do is outline my cube with the Sharpie. And then we just color it in. After you finish coloring in the cube, don't forget to do what it's sitting on and the background to make your picture look like a finished drawing. And here you go, your finished Rubik's Cube.